Did you know that every year in the United States, alcohol addiction shatters the lives of over 14 million adults, costing families billions in lost wages and broken homes, while pushing countless souls to the brink of oblivion? For Ethan Blake, a hard-working mechanic from the bustling streets of Chicago, that statistic wasn't just a number, it was a prophecy of ruin. In 2015, at the age of 35, Ethan seemed to have it all figured out. A solid job at a local garage earning $45,000 a year. A cozy two-bedroom apartment in the suburbs with monthly rent of $1,200 and a family that lit up his world. His wife, Sarah, a dedicated nurse at Northwestern Memorial Hospital, juggled shifts while he fixed engines by day. Their kids, 8-year-old Mia and 5-year-old Jack, filled weekends with laughter at Little League games in nearby parks or backyard barbecues, where Ethan would crack open a beer to unwind. He saw it as harmless, a ritual passed down from his own father, who had swigged his way through factory work without apparent consequence. Ethan believed he controlled the bottle, not the other way around. It was just a buffer against the grind of oil-stained hands and overtime hours. But as the drinks multiplied from 1 or 2 to a nightly 6-pack, cracks began to show. He'd arrive home late, words slurred, promising Sarah it was the last time. The kids sensed the shift. Mia, sketching Dad with a frown and a can, Jack whispering fears to his teddy bear. Ethan's boss, Mike, issued stern warnings after hungover mistakes on the job. Deep down, Ethan clung to his delusion. He was fine, stronger than the pull. Yet, as bills stacked up and arguments echoed through their home, the stakes loomed larger. Could he hold on to his family before the bottle claimed it all? Life in the Windy City demanded more than excuses, and Ethan's grip on normalcy slipped faster than he could admit. By early 2017, the casual beers had morphed into hidden flasks at work, leading to shake, repairs, and customer complaints. One fateful March evening, after downing shots at a bar near the garage, he climbed into his truck and rear-ended a parked car on Lakeshore Drive, racking up a $2,500 repair bill and a DUI charge that slapped him with court fees and a suspended license. Sarah pleaded through tears, "We can't keep this up. Ethan, think of the kids." He nodded, vowing change, but the next night found him back at the bottle, convincing himself a single drink would steady his nerves. The garage tolerated it until summer, when a botched engine job due to his trembling hands cost them a big client. Mike fired him on the spot. "You're a liability, Blake." Unemployment checks trickled in at half his old pay, barely covering rent, and Sarah picked up extra hospital shifts to bridge the gap. Tensions boiled over in heated fights, with Mia covering her ears and Jack crying in his room. Ethan drowned the guilt in more whiskey, missing school events and family dinners. By August 2017, Sarah had enough. She packed bags for herself and the kids, driving 90 miles north to her sister's in Milwaukee. Her parting note on the kitchen table read, "I love you, but I won't let you drag us down." Ethan stared at the empty apartment, the silence heavier than any hangover. Bills went unpaid, and eviction notices piled up like autumn leaves. He cashed his final $300 check and spent it on liquor, wandering Clark Street in Wrigleyville until dawn. Was this the bottom, or just the edge of a deeper abyss? The fall accelerated, pulling Ethan into Chicago's unforgiving underbelly. Evicted after 3 months of arrears, he grabbed a duffel bag and hit the streets, bouncing between shelters like the Pacific Garden Mission downtown, where he'd line up with hundreds for a meager meal and a cot. Odd jobs, washing cars for $10 here, panhandling outside Cubs games there, funded his next bottle, leaving him gaunt and ragged. At 38, he aged a decade overnight, eyes jaundiced, hands unsteady. Old friends ghosted his calls, and his brother in Ohio offered a lifeline once. But Ethan hung up, shame burning hotter than the booze. Winters bit hard. In December 2018, with temperatures plummeting to 15 degrees Fahrenheit, he huddled under a bridge by the Chicago River, sipping vodka to fend off the freeze. A patrol cop found him unconscious, lips blue, and rushed him to Rush University Medical Center's ER. Doctors pumped his stomach, noting a blood alcohol level of 0.25, 3 times the legal limit, and warned of early liver damage. Discharged with AA flyers, he promptly trashed. Ethan resumed his drift, convinced he could quit any time. But the streets taught harsh lessons. Scavenging for food in dumpsters, dodging fights in alleys, and waking to the ache of withdrawal. By February 2019, he'd scraped $50 from begging, blowing it on a handle of cheap vodka. Staggering through Grant Park, he collapsed near Buckingham Fountain, vomiting blood onto the snow-dusted ground. Paramedics arrived just in time, sirens wailing as they loaded him onto a stretcher. In the hospital bed, monitors beeping, Ethan faced the wreckage, hollow cheeks, a body betraying him. The doctor delivered the blow: cirrhosis is setting in, keep going, and you won't make 40. Visions of Mia and Jack fatherless haunted him. For the first time, the denial cracked. But even as nurses wheeled him to recovery, doubt whispered. Could he claw back from this void? The pivotal moment struck like a lifeline in the storm. Still strapped to the hospital bed at Rush, Ethan met Lisa, a no-nonsense social worker with a clipboard and kind eyes. "You've hit the wall, Ethan," she said, reviewing his chart. "Hypothermia last time, now internal bleeding next, could be fatal." Her words cut through the haze, forcing him to confront the mirror she'd metaphorically held up. Flashes of Sarah's tear-streaked face, Mia's drawings, Jack's hidden fears replayed in his mind. He admitted aloud, voice hoarse, "I can't do this alone." Lisa nodded, pulling strings for a spot in Haymarket Center's state-funded rehab program, a 90-day inpatient commitment starting the 1st of March 2019. Ethan signed the papers with shaking hands, terror and hope warring inside. Detox kicked off brutally. Nights of sweats, hallucinations of bottles chasing him, and a fractured knuckle from punching a wall in frustration. Group therapy peeled back layers, sharing his story among vets and single moms, unpacking the grief over his dad's alcohol-fueled death in 2010. A counselor named Tom, a recovered addict himself, became his anchor. "One day at a time, Blake. You've got the fight in you." Ethan clung to that, deciding this was his shot at redemption. But as he stared out the window at the Chicago skyline, a question lingered. Would 90 days be enough to rebuild a shattered life? Rehab demanded grit, and Ethan dove in headfirst, forging habits from the ashes. Mornings started at 6 a.m., with meditation in the center's quiet room, followed by chores like scrubbing floors to instill discipline. He attended every session, 90 meetings in 90 days, scribbling insights in a battered journal. Alcohol isn't escape, it's chains. Therapy dug deep into his why, the dead-end job stress, unresolved paternal shadows, while afternoons taught practical skills, budgeting on scraps, resume tweaks, even sober cooking classes. Setbacks tested him. 2 weeks in, he sneaked a phone call to Sarah, pleading for a second chance. Her response was curt, actions, not words. Devastated, he nearly bolted, but Tom pulled him aside. Quitting now quits on them forever. Ethan recommitted, lacing up sneakers for daily runs around the track, starting at a gasping half-mile on day 1, pushing to 2 miles non-stop by day 30, logging each step as proof of progress. Weight crept back, 15 pounds of muscle replacing the hollows. Discharged in May 2019, he snagged a part-time barista gig at a Lincoln Park coffee shop for $12 an hour, enough to afford a $400 monthly room in a sober living house. Evenings meant AA at a Michigan Avenue church, where he began sponsoring newcomers. But temptations lurked, old bar pals texted invites, and long shifts sparked cravings. One night, facing a liquor ad on his phone, Ethan paced, fingers twitching. Would the new routines hold against the old pull? Momentum built brick by brick, transforming Ethan's haze into purpose. By October 2019, he'd saved $1,200 for a studio deposit in uptown Chicago, furnishing it sparsely but proudly. Enrolling in night classes at City Colleges of Chicago for counseling basics. He balanced homework with lattes, earning a C in his first psych course after an exhaustion-fueled flop, but retaking it for a B. Tom mentored him further. Use your scars to heal others. Ethan volunteered at shelters, leading talks that grew from 15 attendees in January 2020 to 30 by March. Then COVID slammed the brakes, his job shuttered, classes went virtual, isolation bred demons. In September 2020, he bought a beer on impulse but poured it down the sink, marking it averted failure #on in his journal. Adapting, he launched online support groups via Facebook, drawing 50 members statewide. A $5,000 state grant in July 2020 bought tech for sessions. After 18 months, he earned his counseling certificate in November 2020 with a 3.2 gigapascals, landing a full-time non-profit role in The Loop at $38,000 annually. Counseling 20 clients weekly. Rejections came. 3 foundations denied funding for his dream center due to his past, but persistence paid off. In April 2022, after 12 pitches, a philanthropist seeded $50,000. Ethan leased a Englewood building for $2,000 monthly, rallying volunteers for 6 weekends of renovation. Blake's Haven opened the 15th of July 2022, offering free counseling and housing for 10. The first year served 150, with 70% sober past 90 days. Sarah attended the launch, thawing the ice. By Christmas 2023, shared custody meant 90-mile drives into Milwaukee every other weekend. But as the center hummed, Ethan eyed expansion. Could he scale this without crumbling? Ethan's transformation rippled outward, measurable in lives touched and milestones met. By 2024, a $200,000 federal grant, after 6 months of lobbying, funded a second site in Austin neighborhood, boosting annual clients to 300 and dropping relapse rates to 25%. Through tailored fitness programs, Ethan led 5-mile group runs twice weekly, mirroring his rehab strides. His TEDx Chicago talk in March 2024, From Gutter to Guide, exploded to 500,000 YouTube views, drawing national attention. Salary climbed to $65,000, funding a 3-bedroom Oak Park home with an $1,800 mortgage, where he remarried Sarah in June 2025, 6 years post-separation, with Jack as ring bearer. Partnerships with hospitals funneled referrals, and over 200 graduates secured jobs. A August 2024 fire damaged the original site, costing $15,000, but Ethan mobilized, reopening in 2 weeks stronger. He podcasted nationwide, reaching thousands, while hitting AA weekly to stay grounded, 1 drink away from zero. Reflecting on 2,190 sober days by September 2025, Ethan saw growth not in accolades, but in the quiet victories: clients hugging him, kids calling him dad again. Gratitude flowed. For Lisa's push, Tom's wisdom, even the bridges cold that forced change. He channeled it back, funding rehab, scholarships and free workshops, whispering to groups, "I lost it all, but gained purpose." His scars became stories, proving vulnerability breeds strength. In the end, Ethan Blake emerged not as a flawless icon, but as living proof that America's relentless pace can break you, yet also remake you. Standing in Blake's Haven, leading a circle of hopeful faces under the Chicago River Bridge's symbolic shadow, once his nadir, now a metaphor for crossing to better shores, he felt the full arc of his journey. From that frozen huddle to this warm community, every step earned through sweat and stumbles screamed possibility. If Ethan could rise from society's depths, so could anyone. Today, take that first step. Reach for a phone, jot a goal, seek a hand. Your story starts now, just like his.